Namaste. Welcome to Sacred Sunday Sadhana. Take some deep breaths into your belly. Breathe all the way to your pelvic floor. Breathe into your heart, into your throat. Breathe some space into your third eye. And see if you can breathe into the space just above the crown of your head, so that you're sending pranic energy into all 7 of your energy centers, all 7 of your chakras. Align yourself with your truth and set aside this time for yourself today. I've been thinking a lot about conflict resolution and communication. And there's a specific kind of conflict resolution and communication that I absolutely adore, that I just learned about in 2017, and that I've been trying to implement into my life and my relationships, romantic relationship, or with my parents, with my children, with my friends, with my students, anyone that you're in conversation with. Having this nonviolent communication is really beautiful. But it's been 4 years now, and I feel like I haven't even come close to mastering it or being able to use it with consistency. I'm about 50-50, which is great, but I can do better. And what I realized today is that perhaps we have to start with having nonviolent communication with ourselves. So I'm going to direct this video toward cultivating nonviolent communication with yourself. So nonviolent communication is a term coined by Marshall Rosenberg, and he's a psychiatrist, and you can Google him and find out. He might have a TED Talk. He's definitely got YouTube videos. But it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing stuff. It's powerful. It's so simple, but it's powerful, just like a lot of really simple things are, right? So the basics of nonviolent communication are expressing how you feel and expressing what you need. And that's it. So in order to do those things, we have to first create this awareness. We have to be courageous enough to look at the truth of what we really need, of what we really feel. And then we have to be discerning enough to understand what it is that we feel, what it is that we need. And then further, we have to be patient enough to come up with a solution or come up with an answer to what it is that we feel and need. And then if it's, communication skills, interpersonal communication, then we have to be courageous and strong and vulnerable enough to express to another person what we feel and what we need. So maybe if we start with ourselves, we'll be in such great practice of doing it that when another person's involved, it'll be easy peasy lemon squeezy. So starting at the beginning, first any conflict that arises, anything that happens, if you were to feel frustration, then what you could do is identify for yourself, hey self, what's going on? What do you feel right now? And then you just identify, I feel really frustrated. And then what do you need? And usually what we need when we're frustrated is to be understood, or to be heard, or to be seen, or to be safe. So you just kind of determine for yourself what it is that you feel and what it is that you need. And I think I need to use really specific examples, otherwise it just kind of gets lost as a theory. So if I'm driving on the highway and the car in front of me is just showing erratic behavior, going slow when I'm behind him, and then I pass and he speeds up, or something of that nature. If I'm getting frustrated, if I'm going to be non-violently communicating with myself about the situation, I need to first determine, if road rage shows up, I need to figure out hey, what's going on here? Are you really angry? You seem angry. And then I could probably peel it back and say, no, I'm scared. I'm scared that this person that I'm driving beside isn't going to respect the rules of the road and doesn't respect me, and I just don't feel comfortable in this situation driving near them. I want to get around them. I want to get past this person as soon as possible. And then what's the need there? The need is to feel safe. The need is to perhaps get past the person. But if you look deeper, you can see that in order to feel safe, the first thing you really need to do is just not take it personally, like the person is not driving this way because of me. And that removes a lot of the perhaps passion behind it. And then realize that person has something else going on, much bigger than I can understand. So again, I'm not going to make this about me or about what it seems on the surface. It seems like this guy can't drive. Instead, I'm just going to, get over a couple of lanes. So once you get really practiced at that, at doing it for yourself, then maybe we can extend it to someone else. Yeah, I think this is one of those situations where talking about it vaguely like that is just not gonna make much sense, but see if you can apply it to specific situations. Have you had a conflict with anyone lately? And in that conflict, what were you feeling? And what did you need? And just kind of try to go back to a specific situation and see, and then work with it that way. Because I really feel like communicating with any other human is really complicated. My mentor, Dr. Douglas, used to say, whenever there's more than 2 people in the room, it's such a complicated, crowded room, because everybody's got their baggage, everybody's got their story from childhood, everybody's got every experience that's ever occurred to them and every way they've ever handled it. And their wiring is built on their past relationships, all of our wiring. So just remember that when you're in conflict with someone, could be someone that you really admire and love, could be somebody that it's just really tough to get along with, but you have to see them, for different reasons. But regardless, if we can use the tools of nonviolent communication, perhaps we can remember and see that other person as, oh yeah, you've got your own stuff. You've got a lot going on. You've got a whole lifetime of experiences built up. And the way you're reacting and speaking right now has very little to do with me and with this situation, and so much to do with all the conditioning that's gone into what got you here. And then realizing for yourself too, I might be behaving this way because of something that happened to me in childhood, or because of the way that I've always been treated. And it's never too late to just hit that reset button and try something new, try to rewire those patterns. And it's hard. It's not easy, but it's very simple. Another thing that I'm learning, that I guess could be classified as nonviolent communication, but it's a more passive nonviolent communication. I'm learning that not everything has to be worked out right this second. I'm a very pragmatic person, and I come from a family of people who argue. I know how to be a diplomat. I know how to manipulate a point. I know how to argue. I know how to fight. And My sister and I were very close, and that's how we speak to each other. Other people around us are like, gosh, you guys fight a lot. And we're like, are we fighting? It doesn't feel like that. That's just how we talk. And so I'm learning this whole new kind of conversation that is, when things come up, I actually don't have to nip it in the bud right that second, because not everybody has the same speed of processing or the same desire to get to the bottom of it. I do think it's important to not let things build up and up and up so that we develop resentment. But I am learning that depending on the situation, depending on the other person and their relationship with me, maybe I can just sit with it and let it be there, and then see what's still there in an hour, 2 hours the next day, and then get some resolution. Yeah. So I hope that you're open to learning new ways to grow. No matter what age we are, we can always grow, always change. And as long as we stay open and committed to being the best person we can be, then at the end of the day, I think that we sleep better and we have better quality of relationships. And then we've got these wonderful people around us that we can move through this tough world with. You know, it's one thing to become a master of self and meditate and live in a cave and never see any humans. But it's quite another thing to live this life of the householder, where we're meditating and we're growing and we're loving and we're constantly interacting with people. We're constantly being triggered. We're constantly, coming into friction with other people, and realizing that there are very simple and nonviolent ways to resolve our tensions, where we don't put any of the blame on the other person. We just honor what we feel and what we need in that moment. So I hope that's made some sense. I hope that you have a fantastic Sunday. I'm using the word hope, and last week I'm trying to not hope or worry, because they're two sides to the same coin. They both represent expectations. So allow me to say that differently. I trust that you're having a wonderful Sunday and that you will have a wonderful Sunday. And I trust that you feel that spring is coming. The warmer air and the longer days are on the way. The light inside me sees the light inside you, and the nonviolent communicator in me sees the nonviolent communicator in you. Namaste.